Hey Scorpio, how's it going? My name's Alex. I've got some messages for you from the Oracle. I think the Oracle and I might have some useful insight for you today. Before I turn on the camera, I meditate and get into your vibe and tune into your frequency like a radio. And I allow the Oracle to give me some words, give me some sights and sounds, give me some symbolism or something that will be helpful for you to reflect on. This time I got just 3 quotes, just words, and they came very rapid fire. The first thing I got was, "Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff." It's a popular quote. Used to see it on like those, like a wooden carving or something that your mom would hang in the kitchen, you know? The second thing I got was, "It's in the heart and the hand." So the heart and the hand, that's like your feeling and your will. Your hands symbolize your will. So your feeling and your will are in line. And of course, it's important to have the 3 aspects, your thinking, your feeling, and your willing, perfectly in line, in harmony, not in conflict with each other. That your thoughts, your thinking, and your actions, and your feelings are all synced up, and your speech are all copacetic and coherent. The third and final thing I got was, "Don't go gently into that good night." That's a famous one. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that means to you. That could mean anything, really. But I think you're being called to stand your ground, honestly. You know, you can interpret this however you want, but it really feels like you're being asked to just plant your feet and stand your ground and do what you think is right, even though there might be some adversity. But you're being called to do what you think is right. And it makes sense because I got an I Ching hexagram for you, and after I did the meditation, I do an I Ching reading, and you do seem to be in a position where you are stepping into a leadership role, where you're going to lead people, or at least be seen as a leader of a multitude. You see, the hexagram I got was hexagram 7, sure, or multitude. And there's one changing line, the second line, and it changes to responding, hexagram 2. So this is interesting. Sometimes some people translate multitude as army, but the more traditional interpretation is multitude, because in ancient China, there was no concept of an army. There was really no class of people known as a soldier. The army was the peasantry, and they would only be called upon to act in a military fashion when absolutely necessary. The ancients didn't like keeping standing militaries around because they could cause trouble. You know, the old saying is, like running water needs a place to go, a military always needs a war to fight. But because war was considered an evil and only to be engaged in the most dire and necessary of circumstances, and not to be used lightly, and not to be used out of boredom or because you have a whole army of people that need something to do. So the peasantry would, of course, do what the peasantry does, farm, do the agriculture, run the core necessities of civilization, and in the off seasons, maybe in the winter or in the rainy seasons and things like that, they would train militarily to be able to defend the land. And the ancients believed that there are only 2 necessary aspects of life that required war, and that's to overthrow tyranny or to protect the nation from invasion. And war should not be carried out for other purposes. And that's just what the ancient Chinese believe. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but It's just mentioned throughout the I Ching when you read this. It's the commentary of King Wen, the commentary of Confucius. But the host of this hexagram is just one solid line, that second line. And all the other lines are yielding lines. So that one solid line in the middle of the first trigram, hexagram is made up of 6 lines or 2 trigrams. It's in a special place because it's on the bottom trigram. This one represents water, and the one above it represents earth. So it's earth above water is the elemental symbolism of this. Now, like water is stored in the earth for times of need, like in a cistern or in an aquifer, military power is stored in the peasantry, and it is used only when necessary. And the second line is like only a person of very noble intent, very righteous, very upright, very extremely prestigious, like prestigious for the right reasons, very wise, knows how to restrain himself. Only such a person can lead the multitude, especially in military affairs. No other person should. Other people should not be allowed to lead a multitude or lead an army. And that's the changing line that I got. So the most significant line of your hexagram is also the changing line. So that means your attention really needs to be brought there, which is like you are that important person, apparently, who can be viewed as a teacher, can be viewed as noble. People gather around you. People respect you, or they're going to. You're stepping into a place where that's going to happen. And at this time, you need support, and you also need to lead with sincerity, with enthusiasm, with righteous intent. You need to make sure like your motives are pure if you're going to be given this leadership position. And you need to make sure that the motives of those around you are also pure, the people who are going to support you, the multitude that you are to lead. You must make sure your intentions are pure and not based in vanity or anger or vengeance or ego or short-term goals or profiteering or anything like that, because that leads to absolute disaster and chaos. The purpose of this hexagram when it comes up is essentially you are in a position to bring peace and maintain order in a situation. Now, this could be literally. This could be, maybe you're a military officer, maybe you're a police officer. I don't know. That would be very, very appropriate for someone like that. But it could also be in a normal person's life where you just need to have a harmonious relationship with your friends and family or your neighbors or something like that, or your coworkers. This could be very metaphorical, and it could be a situation at work or a situation within the household that you need to be respected, but earn the respect through sincerity and lead by example, through proper conduct. You can't demand respect if you don't deserve it. That leads to disaster. So if you are deserving of the leadership position, the people will automatically put you there. And the changing line, multitude changes to responding, means that you will be rewarded for your efforts. That's essentially the main thing, in that if you are rewarded, when you are rewarded, you need to share that reward with the people around you. And essentially, the second line here, so normally the host of the gua, or the host of the hexagram, is the 5th line near the top, that's second to the top. That's like the king's line. It's the middle of the top trigram. This is the middle of the bottom trigram. That is the host of this gua. So you have a person who responds to the king. So it's the middle of the bottom trigram is responding to the middle of the top trigram. And that is essentially in the I Ching it says the commander gains confidence from the commander-in-chief. And the commander-in-chief bestows thrice, as it is. You first get a post, something to do, a position. Then you get a garment to signify your authority outwardly. And then you receive a title to solidify your legacy. And that's not only the reward, it's also the responsibility. And it gives you the authority to bring order, maintain order in your situation. So some authority figure is going to really notice you and put you in a position of authority and power because you deserve it, because you've been acting in sincerity, with enthusiasm, with truthfulness, with righteous intent, with the sense of justice and morality. And this is basically like you're getting thrust into the position that you're meant for because you're prepared for it, and you appropriately prepared for it, and you're capable of it. And the whole don't go gently into that good night that I got before, that's like you have an important thing to do, and there may be some adversity with that authority that you're going to be given. There's some special thing that you need to do. You kind of just need to put your foot down. And also, it's in the heart and the hand. So again, acting with enthusiasm and sincerity, bringing your feeling and your will together. And then don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. That makes me think this adversity that you'll probably be facing is just the normal type of adversity that leaders face. Just, jealous people, pettiness, competitiveness from others, and people who might disagree with your ideals, or, just that stuff that leaders always have to unfortunately deal with. But it's par for the course. It's all small stuff. It's not. You shouldn't allow this adversity to prevent you from expressing your power. Sometimes when we're given power, we actually do deserve it. People. I think it was Voltaire who said, "Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely." I utterly disagree with this quote. That's complete nonsense in my opinion, because history has shown there have been excellent monarchs who have had absolute authority and the reign over absolute politics, and they were incredible human beings. They were benevolent, they were wise, they had a great sense of justice, and because they were dictators, their word was law, and society became really great because they had a really great sense of what the right thing to do was. So this idea that power is evil or dictatorships are evil, to me is complete nonsense. It's a complete misunderstanding of the human condition. There can be good people who get positions of power and do good things with it. History has shown this over and over and over again. But we don't get that history in the Western world because we have short attention spans, and we like to believe in different types of political systems like democracy. So when we study history in school, they just tell us all the bad stuff that bad rulers did. And they never tell us the good stuff that good rulers did because it's boring. Imagine reading the life of a king who did really good stuff. It's like, oh, he made sure the farmers got this, and this worked, and that worked, and the infrastructure was good, and it's extremely boring. There was no war, it was all peaceful, and daily life went on, and everybody was happy and prosperous. And it makes for very boring history lessons, right? They want to talk about the scandal, and the corruption, and the wars, and the evil things, and the weird things that these people do. And that fills up the history books. So unfortunately, the best rulers in history are unremembered. People really don't remember them at all. They get wiped away from the history books out of a sense of boredom and disinterest. You might be one of those leaders where you are a very good person and you're the right person for the job, and any adversity and controversy that comes up from you is the normal type that won't cause too many problems for you, and you will do a very great job at what you're doing. And history might forget you, but God will remember you. God always remembers those rulers, and they have a special place in reality. I'm convinced of it. And I think you might be one of those people. And that's really great. So what we're going to do now is use my own divination system that I developed. Here we've got 24 aspects of reality, things to focus on in life, sort of archetypes, if you will. We're going to focus on one. I'm going to spin this coin here. It's going to point at one of these 24 symbols, and then I'm going to pull some cards. And and it'll be the aspect of your life that the oracle wants you to focus on. So here we go. What does Scorpio need to know? Land it upside down. Let's try that again. What does Scorpio need to know, oracle? It's pointing at the symbol for the logos. That's basically like the word of God, sort of active, the created aspect of the spiritual trinity, right? The logos is like the active power of God, the learning, you know, that which teaches us, which helps us. It's like the helpful aspect of God, the helpful aspect of reality, you know, that which guides us to see the truth in a situation. The logos, that inner power, that inner voice, that just brings us to exalted states of consciousness. The logos. Oh, that's way too many. What does Scorpio need to know about the logos? What does Scorpio need to know about the logos? Huh. Very interesting. Justice. That kind of goes along with what we've been talking about here. You know, Themis, or justice, is blind, right? She's called to arbitrate fairly, very fairly. You know, this is Libra, a Libra vibe, Venus vibe. The sense that what's right is right, and you know what's right. It doesn't matter what others believe. It doesn't really matter what people believe. You can judge a tree by the fruit it bears. And sometimes there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things, you know, and those types of situations are probably obvious to you, especially to a Scorpio. You know, Scorpios have a very penetrating insight into things. You get to the core of an issue and see it for what it really is. You get through the masks and the layers of illusion and delusion, and you get right to the real kernel of what something is. And because of that, you can make a good judgment on it, because you know the truth of a thing. And so you would make a great judge. You sense when people are lying. You sense when people are hiding something. And a lot of the times you know exactly what it is that they are hiding. And that could be one of the reasons why you're being given this position of power, to use that keen intuition that you have, that insight, that ability to see into the heart of a situation and judge it accordingly and carry out a sentence and just fix a problem, you know? Just fix a problem and move on to the next thing. All right. I'm going to pull another card for you from another deck, and we'll clarify. We'll see if we can get any more about what this might be about. Justice and the logos for Scorpio. What's this about, oracle? Justice. It's this one. Oh, wow. Cancer got this one yesterday. 70 freaking cards. I pulled the same one twice. This is nurturing. You can see a skull, a coin in the mouth, a book, and a cicada. Interesting. So, yeah, I'm thinking there's a problem that you know of, that you've seen to the heart of, and you're contemplating how to end it, how to solve the problem. You're nurturing your solution. You know, maybe this goes back to the multitude. You're gathering the support of those around you. You're nurturing your multitude. You're bringing it together so that you can bring something to an end, so that you can solve a problem. And the cicada here, cicadas are very self-sacrificing creatures. They don't consume anything, they just give themselves to the forest. They provide nutrients and fertilizer for the soil with their bodies. They just live and die. They can't consume anything. Animals eat them, and they just fertilize everything. So a good leader is a self-sacrificing leader. Someone who would be respected to lead a multitude is someone who does the work also. They don't just, you should delegate because that's part of being a leader, and you definitely have the authority to delegate and need to delegate because you can't do everything yourself, but you have to do some things yourself. You have to really lead with sincerity. You have it's in the heart and the hand. You can't just feel your way through life. You feel and then do, and you have to lead by example by actually doing what you need to do, and you just have the support of more people to do it. And you have to nurture yourself. You have to nurture those around you. When you're rewarded, you have to justly divvy out that reward to the people who need it and the people who help you accomplish your goals, to the people who deserve it. Yeah. And you need to keep aware. You need to have a good sense of why you're doing what you're doing, so you don't get lost, so that your mission doesn't get derailed or destroyed. You have to keep learning and researching and make sure you're leading properly. Now I'm going to pull a token for you, part of my divination system. One last thing for you to think about. What does Scorpio need to know? What's the last thing we should think about for Scorpio today? It's this one. Oh, yeah. He's a cute little guy. Come on, don't focus on me. The bear. He's funny. I free-handed that one. Well, anyway. The bear. That's a quiet power. It's quiet but so imposing and so strong and heavy. It's a really deep spiritual power that just, you're the type of person, I think, that doesn't need to say anything. You can probably win an argument with your mouth shut just by looking at someone. I get the sense you're that type of person. This whole reading, I get the sense you're just the type of person with serious gravitas, and you are being asked to just be your powerful self. Don't deny your powerful self. Don't deny the strength you have, your quiet depth, your heaviness. That's just a beautiful, imposing, yet gentle and quiet. A bears only attack when they feel they really have to. They don't just go wild randomly. They only use their power when it's absolutely necessary. And we all know it. We all see a bear and we all shut up and wonder what's going to happen next, and we're careful around a bear. You don't poke a sleeping bear. I think you're that bear. And maybe somebody poked you. So use your power wisely. Like the hexagram, the multitude, the army, is only used in the most dire and necessary of circumstances, and only when justice is truly on your side. And you're being asked not to confuse vengeance and justice, or vindictiveness with justice, or spite with morality, to keep a clear and calm mind, to weigh everything out, to keep the open book, to be blind with your sense of justice, and to be balanced and fair. And when your power is needed, you're a force to be reckoned with. And I think you're being put in the position that you're meant to be in. And you should seize the opportunity, I think. I really do. I think it's important that you step into this with confidence in yourself, because your superior, whoever that is, has confidence in you. And I think it's probably well placed. So don't doubt that about yourself. understand that the confidence you're getting from the person putting you in this position of power, whether it's the commander-in-chief above you bringing you up and bestowing your title and symbols of authority, and the people at the same level as you, the multitude, who are going to support you, they all trust you. So you should trust yourself. Because I think you're getting something that you deserve. That's been a long time in the coming. That's been nurtured for quite some time. That's great. You should be proud of yourself. I look forward to your next steps in your life. This is exciting. I think that's all that the Oracle and I have for you today, Scorpio. Thanks for stopping by. It's always great to see you, and I hope to see you again soon.